What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. You know we have some tea to get into. But before we get into this tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We kind of popping over there. Don't forget Blue Sky. I'm trying to transfer over there, slowly but surely, child. Now, the tea. Oh my goodness. We're in a new era for Miss Miley Cyrus. We are. And I have to talk about it. It wouldn't be so dev if I didn't discuss Miley Cyrus. I have been standing Miley Cyrus since 2006, since the promo for Best of Both Worlds came on, since they were on the crossover with the High School Musical cast and Hannah Montana on the set of Hannah Montana, discussing both of High School Musical and Hannah Montana premiering around the same time. So it was just like, I don't know, like I lived in a glorious time because the Disney Channel content and the Disney Channel quality of stars that I had received, my goodness. I mean, the list could just go on. And, you know, out of that, you get Raven-Symoné, you get Zendaya, you get China McClain, you also get Miley Cyrus, you also get Selena Gomez, you also get Demi Lovato. Like, there's just so many things that came out of Disney Channel that still hold true. Like, those artists are prevalent in my life. And Mom, it wasn't just the fucking phase. I'm so serious. It wasn't. Like, it's really one of those things where I say this all the time, where the journey of being a fan of an artist for such a long time is such a fruitful journey. I've been a fan for almost 20 years now. Next year will be 20 years of being a fan of Miley Cyrus. And I was just thinking about it because I've been a fan of Nicki Minaj since 2007. So almost 20 years of her, and I could go on, you know, and just name a bunch of people who I have been fans of for now almost 20 years, and I hadn't realized it. Like, sure, maybe it feels like a decade, but almost 20? You've lost your mind, because how old am I? Anywho, like, you know, Miley, when I see where she's at now, and going from, you know, the Best of Both Worlds world tour, right? We saw her on this massive arena tour where it's sold out. She has the arenas filled from brim to brim, child. And it's amazing to see how someone that young held that much power. And thankfully, she had her parents walking with her, because you notice a lot of people who don't have the direction typically of their mother behind the scenes. Sometimes it kind of can go awry. And, you know, you can say that Miley Cyrus kind of went off the rails if you want to, but the reality of it is, if we really look at the time of bangers where she was in between the ages of 20 and like 23, 25, just in that block of time frame of bangers, of Dead Pets and Young and Out, whatever, you notice, you see a person who's going through changes that we all go through, but not in the public eye. I couldn't imagine going through a lot of the shit that I went through as a child, as a teenager, as a becoming of an adult. You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't imagine all of that being under the microscope of the general public, because it's harsh. And, you know, you see a lot of things out here, and you see TMZ and these blogs, blah, 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 and they are essentially making money to put food on the table for their families, but at the expense of other humans. And watching, you know, Miley Cyrus grow up and seeing how the tabloids have always been toward her, and then how it kind of progressively transitioned, like the tabloids for Miley Cyrus in 2006 or 2008 compared to 2013 to 2015. Like, I mean, oh my goodness, the switch of that, because we had a progression of media, right? The media didn't stay the way that it was. Like TMZ, I mean, they're back to their old habits now, but they were following you around with cameras, like chasing you down. Like, it was a hunt to find you and to get this story and to get any little information that we can to create a story that's going to be worth people reading, even if it's not entirely true. Maybe we can spin the truth. And we just watched Miley Cyrus be a victim of that for so long. And seeing where she's at now, to a place to where she's not even bothered with the public. She's not even bothered with the general public. It's very clear that they're making it very obvious by speaking in third person when she's posting her new releases and stuff now, that Miley isn't running the social media. And it's been very clear to us that she hasn't been doing that for a very long time. This is a little side note here. I don't think this whole third person thing is a good idea. It's killing her engagement. And I'm sure Miley Cyrus does not care about the charts, the mainstream, or whatever the case may be, right? But it's also at the same time like, girl, get what you deserve. You know what I mean? Because fine, we know somebody is running her social media, so she doesn't have to. The whole point of her having Miley World was so that way she could have a fan interaction page, but that stopped once she stopped posting on social media, so we knew it wasn't her. And it was one of those things where I was kind of like, it feels like you've lost an aspect of the connection that you had with your friends. Not friends, but fans. Like, it's just interesting to me, because I feel like majority of the time being a fan of Miley Cyrus, and I'm totally fine with Miley not being on her social media. I don't really care. I would love to see her engagements up on all aspect of things, because we can't act like those things don't impact a song's performance along the way. Because look, and you can't compare anything with Flowers, because not everything is going to be Flowers. You can't expect that. You can't expect everything to be a song that massive. But it was just kind of the way that they went about it. It was structured quite well to roll out Flowers the way that they did. Maybe not the album, but Flowers for sure. And the engagement for Flowers, they were so up. And I think a big reason for that had to be the fact that, well, Miley came off of, she was on our TVs in our homes for New Year's, bringing in a special time together. You know what I mean? Each year. And immediately after that, she teased Flowers during, she teased Flowers after. Like, it was done so well. But this route, like, it's very weird to me, because I feel several different ways about it. It's like there's no connection to the fans and her right now, other than just living through the music, which is fine with me, because all I really care about is that she's going in the studio and making stuff that resonates with her and then sharing it with us. I mean, she knows when to share something. Look at Flowers. My goodness, did we need a song like that during that time? End of the world. My goodness, do we need a song like that during this time? And I've said it a billion times. The world is on fire right now, bitch, especially this country. But you want to know what? Even if it's for 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, we can just live and be in the present moment like it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? We can really make the most of the time that we have right here, right now, and make the most of what we have control over, right? So that's just what the song End of the World really makes me feel. It's not ironic that song is coming out right now. You know, she could have put that song out at any point in time. I'm sure that's not some new song. We obviously heard her perform the song before for a small private crowd, but it's just, you know, it's so interesting when I hear these new songs, because obviously we're in this new Miley era, right? And there's something so, and when I say the word dated, I don't mean dated as in old, heard it before, been there. Dated as in it comes from a time that sounds like an archive. It sounds old and new at the same time. It sounds like someone who studied the greats, who studied the 80s and then some. Like someone who really did their homework and is truly living and breathing that quality. And it's coming out in the music. I mean, listen to something beautiful. My goodness. I mean, you got a little jazz in there. You got some pop in there. You got some soul. Like, there's so many different things in so many different elements of music in that song. And I love to see that Miley Cyrus is utilizing that, because we've seen Miley Cyrus over the years. No album is the same album. Period. Nothing sounds the same. So it makes sense that Miley Cyrus will come to a point to where she will put all of that energy over the course of her career into the music. And she says that often. You know, I want to create things out of what I've created and create something new. And I feel like she does that every time. I said, look at Endless Summer Vacation. I mean, you have all of her career throughout those songs on that album. And it's like she just went on vacation, took a nice little break, and then came back refreshed with this concept in this album that advanced the maturity. It advanced the instrumentation. Let's talk about it. The instrumentation on this album already, we only have 3 tracks. I mean, my goodness, they use so many types of sounds. I mean, the live instrumentations, we have the synths. I mean, it's just so many details put into this music. And I often think about a lot of different things, because I think about what specifically on Endless Summer Vacation. I think it might have been, I mean, 1,000 Miles definitely has that live instrumentation, but also Violent Chemistry. Like, I remember that being one of my favorite parts about that song. And it's always been a production for me, from Miley Cyrus. The production has always been amazing, but there wasn't too much focus on the instrumentation, right? And I think that we really started to see that after Bangers. I think that Bangers really incorporated a lot of those elements, but I think that we began to see Miley Cyrus's creative mind after Bangers, because Bangers felt like she did already that she could do in mainstream. Not that she could do, that she wanted to do. Like, what else is there to do in this mainstream pop area, whatever? So she makes a completely different shift, and she makes this album, Dead Pets, that sounds like a Pink Floyd inspired album, and it's just psychedelic, and nobody could expect it, but it ended up being one of my favorite albums of her, period. And just seeing how the details of that album really unfolded, it allowed me to have this type of euphoric experience with that album. And I feel like that was really the start of the manic creativeness in the studio, and you know, the switching of songs not having this normal structure. She obviously still kept true to some of that. I mean, look at, you know, She Is Coming and blah 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 blah, but you know, she still stays true to the center of Miley Cyrus, the brand, while also experimenting further. I mean, Dead Pets, and then Younger Now. Right after Younger Now was that mainstream album. That was that album that she wrote and made herself to prove to herself as an artist. And I think every artist needs an album like that. And I'm glad Younger Now was that for her. And you know, again, thinking about Younger Now, I also hear parts of Younger Now in End of the World. I hear Plastic Hearts, Younger Now, and I also hear Dead Pets in End of the World. I also hear it inside Something Beautiful. I mean, I think about the She's Not Hymns and all the blah blah blah, the Week Without You, like the soul that's inside of that countryness as well that she has. I really feel that energy inside some of these new songs. So congratulations, Miss Miley Cyrus. I'm telling you, this is an adult album. This is a new era. It's a mature era. That's what it is. It's mature as hell. And you know, I often think about growing up and hearing all of these fantastic songs, this quality music that, you know, my parents had played for me, and you know, I still jam to them today, and they still have this old time feel to it, but it still sounds fresh and new. And I'm listening to these songs by Miley Cyrus, especially End of the World, and hearing all the influence, especially the 80s influence, and how much of a throwback it sounds like. And again, it sounds like a timeless classic that I can introduce to my kids one day, and they hear this sound, they'll be like, that sounds so old. And I honestly could not help but cackle, because Miley Cyrus is really making the music that we're going to be able to share with our children. And it really is that music that they're going to take with them also, but also know that music to be old-timed music. I mean, because I think about the progression of music these days, right? And you almost wonder what's next. Music has progressed from what you had vinyls, you had tapes, to CDs, to MP3 players, and now you've got everything digital and streaming. It's no longer physical. It's digital, but not nearly as much as streaming. Like, the industry has changed so much, it makes you wonder what's next. And Miley Cyrus is in the future, and I don't think that people really have processed that. And I think that if she went through with her She Is Miley Cyrus album with a 3-part EP to make up one album, I think that people would have seen that probably sooner, but she scrapped that idea. And that creativity is still in her. Obviously, it's not going to go anywhere. But I feel like she has repurposed that idea into something different. Like, Miley Cyrus is not going to go on some soundstage and do this most elaborate video. She's just not. Miley Cyrus loves to perform. She loves to sing. She loves live. And so, what better way for her, right? Because she doesn't want to do the same industry stuff and blah, blah, blah. She's been doing that her entire life. So what does she do? Girl, she does a live performance for each song and makes it into a video. That way, the video is a true experience for you to be, to me, and captured by. Because me watching a live performance, I'm really in tune with that. And for her to conjoin video and live performance into one thing, we've seen it a couple times where, I think Elle or Vivo, could be both of them, who have tried to do these live type music video things, right? And it's not something that the industry has entirely picked up on. It's not. But it's also just the fact that Miley Cyrus just kind of made that her thing. Because we grew up with backyard sessions, right? That's been going on for over a decade now. But we've seen the progression of the backyard sessions. I said background child. I'm thinking about background actors. Anyway. But, again, it's like, wow. You have progressed from doing songs in your backyard with your band and having some friends over, sometimes in onesies, to having a whole fucking music film. Because I thought that we hit peak when we took backyard sessions from YouTube over to Disney Plus. And then you put it on live national television? Oh, bitch. I said, oh, okay, it can't get no better than this. My bitch pops out with not only an album, but a film. She said a film. She didn't say Miley Cyrus backyard session. She said something beautiful. The film. I said, oh, so my bitch said, you want to know what? I'm going to conjoin the many things that I'm good at. Being on camera and performing. And I'm already a natural actor. So she's putting literally the best of both worlds into all of this stuff that she's doing. She's actually really embodying the spirit of Hannah Montana, because obviously she is. And it's again also the testament of her saying that she's younger now and, used to be young, and the reflection of it, and her coming to the realization that I am Hannah Montana. I am that pop star. I am that diva. And look at her now. She has a Grammy, and that has elevated her success into a new dimension. And I feel like the industry entirely respects her now. And I think that she has hit a superstardom level of her career. Now, will that equate to being mainstream success? Who knows? I think that it will. I think that the album is going to go number one. What will the singles do? I don't know. That I don't know. There's no way to tell. The song could debut at 45 and then pop up to the top 10 or top 5. It could debut top 5 and stay there. Top 10 stay there. Top 20 stay there. Who knows how the journey is going to go? She hasn't structured this era like it has a massive budget to it, right? But she didn't structure this era as a mainstream era. She just didn't. If that was the case, she would have a high budget quality video that, you know what I mean? It's not a live performance. If you're going to do a live performance video and use that as your lead single, do you know how many labels would have been like, nope, fuck that. She can do it because it's Miley Cyrus. Well, some of the best performances that I've ever seen from Miley Cyrus was a live performance. So, again, the fact that she did it, love that. Ate that up. So I feel like Miley Cyrus is hitting a new level of her artistry now. Because a live visual album, a movie, what next? Because you can't go back. You know what I mean? I hope that this is just her thing. To go in, record an album, for a couple of years, and then go out and create a film out of that project based on the story that you're telling with the album. I hope that's her thing, because obviously she's not going to be in the general public like that. She's not going to be promoting her album like that. We're not really going to see her. So her team has obviously been finding ways to keep Miley Cyrus having interactions with the public and her fans. And so the best way that they know how to do that, from what I'm seeing, is to post more on a consistent basis, even though it's in third person. That's a terrible idea. But, they're posting on a regular basis on each individual app. And I feel like that they're now posting a good amount. It's just in third person and it's weird. But anyway, y'all, I think that this era for Miley Cyrus is about to be everything that I want, everything that I've been looking for. I mean, the lyrical content inside this music, it's beautiful. She's really saying something. She's really talking about something. I can tell she feels it. I can tell this comes from her soul. I can tell that even if Miley Cyrus decides to change her mind the next day, that this music will still be of quality to her, and that she will still want to sing this like she does Flowers. Because I know she loves her music, but I've not known her to love a song like Flowers as much as any of her other songs. And it's not to say that she doesn't love them. I'm sure she has her favorites, right? But no. I genuinely just feel like Flowers, and it could have a lot to do with the fact that she didn't have to perform it like that. She maybe performed it once or twice. It wasn't something that she went all around town performing, so it really allowed her to really still love the song without losing that quality of interest to it. Because I'm sure after you promote your song here, and you sing the song 100 times before you've even made it to like a Grammy stage or an award stage, So I understand that. Anywho, with that being said, I do hope that she plans to tour. Because look, realistically, she could do nothing for the rest of the year because she has an album coming. She has a film coming. And then what? Around the back end of the year, announce a tour that's going to start in the summer of next year. Like, that would gag me. That would be the icing on the cake for me if she announced that tour at the end of the year. Because I'm not expecting a tour. I wasn't expecting Miley Cyrus to go on tour at all for years. At least 5 to 10. So I'm very, very, very excited to see what is going to come in this era. I think that she's put it together so wonderfully. She's put a lot of time, a lot of detail, a lot of attention, and I think we're going to get everything that we need. And I need her to restock the signed CDs. Anywho, that's all I really have to talk about today. It's just, Miss Miley Cyrus and her era and what's coming, and just how of quality things have been in her career from the beginning until now, witnessing the growth. I mean, it's just, again, been so fruitful. I could not be any more grateful to have been a part of this journey. Also, thank you for being a part of this podcast journey. I appreciate you for listening. Now, make sure you go ahead and follow me on all social media platforms at That Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube, because we kind of bobbing over there. I appreciate you. Drink some water, eat some good food, take care of yourself, because if you don't, who the hell will? Right? Thank you for streaming the That Sowdev podcast, where you stay true and stay you. And I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.